On January 18th, it was widely reported that Microsoft was set to lay off 10,000 of its employees. To be clear, multiple companies are doing this at this time. Amazon and Meta have similarly announced intentions to fire thousands of people, as has Wall Street banking firm Goldman Sachs. There are concerns of an economic recession or nosedive, and tech companies have since admitted that they went on an overzealous hiring spree since 2019 to meet surging consumer demand. Microsoft, for example, brought on 75,000 new workers in this time period. While the business world can be cutthroat, this news still sucks. Obviously, these are people's jobs and livelihoods. As things pertain to Microsoft, it's hard to believe CEO Satya Nadella's claim that the layoffs are a painful but necessary thing to do given the massive gains that the company has been seeing as of late. For example, they reportedly brought in $18 billion in profits in the 3 month period ending in September 2022. In addition, the company is currently trying to acquire Activision Blizzard King for almost $69 billion, suggesting that they have fairly deep pockets. Xbox is not immune to these layoffs. Bethesda Game Studios and the Coalition are said to be losing employees. But it's 343 Industries that's apparently gotten hit particularly hard. There are no concrete official figures, but it's been rumored that the studio will lose around 60 people. I wanted to take this opportunity to perform a brief retrospective on 343's management of the Halo franchise since it took over from Bungie in 2011 to 2012, as well as speculating on how the series moves forward. The first game 343 made was Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, a remaster of the original Xbox title. It gave the game a new coat of paint, but it lost some of the source material's charm and personality in the transition to the 360. It wasn't a bad first effort, but it certainly wasn't perfect and didn't live up to its potential. In 2012, the studio released Halo 4 to mixed fan reception. Fans took issue with the fact that it ditched a lot of the franchise's unique qualities in favor of the FPS trends at the time. For instance, the custom loadouts drew clear inspiration from Call of Duty's custom classes. This may seem like a minor thing from the outside, but in practice, it drastically altered Halo's core multiplayer gameplay by having each player spawn with different sets of weapons, grenades, and even perks. The campaign nailed the dynamic between Cortana and the Master Chief, reaching an emotional range rarely seen in the series, but the Didact Forerunner storyline left much to be desired. Then there was the Master Chief Collection, which, to be frank, was an embarrassment for years. It simply didn't function. I remember buying an Xbox One for this game, and after seeing its sorry state, I sold my console and bought a PS4. I actually rebought my PS4 that I sold for the Xbox. Sorry, Jake, if you're watching this. I stuck with the PlayStation for the rest of that generation. Halo 5 Guardians had an awful campaign, marred from the start by a misleading marketing campaign and launched in an unfinished state. Now there's Halo Infinite, which likewise had a messy launch year and an extremely turbulent development cycle. It goes without saying that 343 Industries has managed the franchise extremely poorly. In a relatively recent episode of Podcast Unlocked, IGN's Xbox-centric podcast, the panel discussed the arranged marriage between Halo and 343 and questioned whether it's working. I think that's a fair question, and perhaps it is time for a divorce. So looking at things retroactively, it doesn't surprise me to hear that Microsoft targeted 343 in their mass layoffs. There's been multiple episodes of core restructuring at the studio. In September 2022, Bonnie Ross, 343's director and founder, announced that she was leaving the company. The reasoning sucks. It was apparently because of a family medical emergency, which I hope has been resolved. 3 people replaced Bonnie, whose job was divided in 3. In that same month, David Berger, Infinite's technical director, likewise announced his exit. Obviously, the developers at the studio are incredibly talented and passionate about the series. They no doubt gave their all and desperately want to make games that please fans. I have nothing but respect and appreciation for them. Leadership, either at 343, Xbox, Microsoft, or all of the above, failed them, their staff, and us, the fans. I want to make it clear that I harbor no ill will towards the executives and leaders. I'm sure Bonnie Ross is extremely passionate about Halo and that she tried her absolute best. Sadly, for one reason or another, things didn't work out. That happens, it is what it is. But hopefully she and other former and current leaders at the studio can understand our frustrations and mistrust. It seems like the only time 343 was able to ship a fully complete game was with Halo 4 in 2012. Every subsequent release has been unfinished at best and an utter mess at worst. I can understand and appreciate the ambition for the Master Chief Collection. The idea was to have all core Halo games playable on a modern machine on one disc, with the original multiplayers intact and with performance and resolution boosts. That's an awesome idea, and I know that this is easy for me and other faceless armchair executives to say, especially in hindsight, but at the end of the day, it's on management to contain that ambition in a constructive and productive manner and ensure that the product consumers get at launch is full and complete, one that is worth the $60, soon to be $70 price tag from day one, not something that feels like an investment for something that may eventually resemble a complete product. What do the cuts to 343 Industries mean for Halo going forward? According to reporting from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, Pierre Hintz, the studio head, communicated in an email to his staff that developmental focus will shift to continuing to support Infinite's multiplayer and live service systems. I'm not sure what this means for single player and co-op content like campaign DLC or a mode like Firefight, but I have my guesses and concerns. The campaign team was said to have been hit particularly hard, which is a shame because I think the campaign is one of Infinite's best features. In addition, Joe Staten, a Bungie-era veteran who joined 343 to help guide Infinite across the finish line, is said to have left his post as head of creative and is set to rejoin Xbox's broader publishing division. Staten was instrumental in crafting the narratives for Halo 2 and ODST. In September 2022, he even took to Twitter to praise the latter on its anniversary, saying that he would love to make something like ODST again someday. That got many fans excited. We all hope that he might lend his talents to something special in the near future, such as campaign DLC or a side story similar to ODST. Sadly, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, at least not anytime soon. There is an optimistic view to all of this. Xbox could use this as an opportunity to give other teams, either first-party studios under its own banner and or third-party partners, a chance to take a stab at a Halo game. Ryan McCaffrey over at IGN, for example, suggested the idea of an id Software take on the series. If the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, then perhaps Infinity Ward or Treyarch could take a shot. That would be wild. It's exciting, and there is a part of me that subscribes to that view. But on the other hand, there is a pessimistic angle. Xbox could choose to scale things back, get Infinite to a position where it can make a subtle but stable stream of revenue through its multiplayer and live service systems. Maybe publish a small side thing or spin-off here and there, but otherwise let the series lay dormant for quite some time. This is not outside the realm of possibility. The franchise has been in a turbulent state for more than a decade now. Bonnie Ross, in a 2019 interview with Ryan McCaffrey, made it seem like Microsoft was willing to let Halo go, at least for a little while, after Bungie left to do its own thing with Destiny. The two possibilities I just laid out could be extremes at either end of the spectrum, and perhaps something in the middle might happen. Regardless, it's a tough time to be a Halo fan right now. I feel like we've been saying that a lot these past 10 or so years. If I could give a vibe check to myself, I'd say that I feel disheartened. Not as bad as the MCC's launch, that was on another level. But things just kinda suck right now, especially because I think Infinite is a good game with the potential to be something truly special. I enjoyed my 2 playthroughs of the campaign, and the core gameplay and multiplayer is fun and satisfying. I think 343 finally managed to make a game that looks and feels like Halo. This feels like an entry Bungie might have made after Reach. That's all I've ever wanted since they left the Xbox family. My hope is that Xbox doesn't give up on Infinite, that it gives the game the support it needs, and in turn that the franchise rejuvenates itself. It remains to be seen if that will happen. Thank you everyone for watching this rather rambly and somber video, and until next time, Take care.